Hey, all right, everyone. Welcome to the newest episode of Heal Thyself. We have been going at this, and thank you all for supporting. I say it every show because I truly do mean it. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support, the rate, review, and subscribing. Keep it going. Keep it flowing. Man, today's show, something that's really important to me as far as health, something we don't talk about enough as far as health. We're going to get into that in the Knowledge Bomb segment. And then the product review, something that's really common over the counter, and I'm going to give you some better alternatives. And our special guest, she's an Instagram sensation. She's got everything to offer. She's going to help us shift to a healthier diet and give us all the hacks that she has under her sleeve. So without further ado, let's get into the show. Today's Knowledge Bomb is on one of my favorite topics overall. It's on dental health, oral health. So important into who we are and how our bodies work. We neglect it constantly because we see our mouth as separate from our body, but I promise you it is not. It is more like a window to the body. All right. So like I said, it's often overlooked, but for a long, long time, there's been many functional dentists, holistic dentists, just holistic practitioners who see the importance of oral health and how it's connected to disease processes in the body. And if you recall or know anything about my history, I went to dental school for about 1.25 years or so up in Minnesota. And what I did see, and I've always been really a holistic person, the way I see life and the body, but I did see, much like conventional school, a reductionist approach to what health is overall. So yes, they did stress the connectedness between oral health, especially periodontal disease and heart disease, but nothing about gut health. So I do believe and hope that these dental schools are now starting to unfold and unroll more nutrition programs or nutrition courses and teaching oral health as more of a whole. But there was talk, like I said, talk a little bit about periodontal disease in the heart. But really, the mouth microbiome is the second largest and most diverse, right after the gut, microbiome in the body. We have over 700 species of bacteria in our mouth, and they're billions and billions in number. Every second, we're swallowing thousands and thousands and thousands of different species of bacteria that gets to our gut. It's intimately tied with our gut health. Remember I said that it's intimately tied with our gut health. Usually, the state of your mouth, the state of your oral health is a direct reflection to the state of your gut. And I say this all the time because, you think of folks who get ulcers in their mouth, right? And I always question, is it just localized to the mouth, or is that just a reflection of really what's going on in the gut too? Are you producing inflammatory lesions in the gut? And what's the underlying cause, right? That's always the main question. But again, the mouth is a direct extension of the gut. Really, in the early stages of infancy, the mouth and the gut are very similar. They pretty much have almost the same species of probiotic bacteria. And it diversifies later over time. But remember, everything in the gut has got to go through the mouth at some point. So really the old school way of looking at oral health was getting rid of all the bacteria, sterilizing it, right? Brushing with antibacterial, sterilizing agents, different mouthwashes. So I got really inspired when we had Stephen Lin here really a few months ago. It was one of my first shows, but he is a functional dentist, and man, he blew a lot of the audience away with the information he was giving because he was speaking about the importance of jaw and teeth development and health overall, particularly when it comes to breathing. And we know breathing or oxygen is the number one nutrient in our whole body, more important than any food. So he was speaking about the importance of nutrient-dense foods, particularly fat-soluble ones, and then the mechanical action of chewing, how it helps in jaw development. But he also said, if you have wisdom teeth removal, crooked teeth, braces, at any point in your life, that's signs of a poor diet in your childhood. And he also says that tooth decay, gum disease, bad breath are just conditions that are due to the loss of correct bacteria, right? Remember, we talk about microbiome and dysbiosis, right? Good bacteria, bad bacteria, the overgrowth of bad bacteria. The same thing happens in our mouth, except the consequences are not constipation, diarrhea. They're tooth decay, periodontal disease, gingivitis, bad breath. So again, it's a direct system. The mouth, the gut, and then the gut which we know houses so much or modulates so much of our health, including things like diabetes, weight loss, brain health, right? Mood. So it wouldn't be a long shot to say, does our mood start with our oral health and what we're putting in our mouth? So, yeah, I loved what Stephen Lin had to say about all of this. I really urge you guys to go back and check out our episode because it was game changing. I want to now speak about what are the top ways to maximize oral health and thus gut health and thus overall health, right? Remember, it all starts in the mouth. So, what are some ways? Well, stay away from antiseptic mouthwashes. We don't know how safe they are, for one. We don't know what, in particular, exactly what bacteria it gets rid of and the effect that it has on our mouth biome, right? Our oral biome. We also know that a lot of these mouthwashes have food coloring and a bunch of other crap too. But there was a podcast, again, that I was listening to with Stephen Lin. It was a Broken Brain one. And he had mentioned that the studies show a connection between mouthwash and diabetes. And the real mechanism would be that mouthwash, as I mentioned, disrupts the oral microbiome, thus disrupting the gut microbiome. And we know, as I just mentioned before, the gut microbiome is tightly correlated with diabetes, the development of the diabetes process, okay? So one thing to pay attention to, get off all of those antiseptic mouthwashes. You don't need them, period. Stay away from toothpaste that still have triclosan. Triclosan is a banned ingredient, but a lot of toothpaste still have them. That's a nasty chemical in the whole body. I spoke about it in one of the chemical toxicity or environmental toxicity shows. It also disrupts the mouth flora. And thus again, disrupting the microbiome. So stay away from those toothpastes. And then other things. I mean, I had a toothpaste review one of my first episodes was toothpaste. Check that out. Hear what I had to say, how to choose a proper toothpaste. Stay away from artificial coloring, fluoride, natural flavors, synthetic chemicals. These are all things that are disrupting overall oral and gut microbiome, okay? Fat-soluble vitamins. Right. If you eat animal, you might find it eat animal products. You might find it a little bit easier to get a hold of these. But even if you eat plant-based, you could still get fat-soluble vitamins. These are ones like vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin K. So think about A, you got to think about oranges, orange color. So orange veggies like carrots or butternut squash or pumpkin, sweet potato. Apricots is another thing, kale, melon, broccoli. Vitamin D, of course, sun. I talk about it on every other show for a reason. Sun is the most powerful nutrient giver that this earth can offer us. So, and we evolve with it. So it's incredible stuff. You can also get them in mushrooms or fortified milk products. Get some nutrient testing too to see where you're at. You know, if you have sufficient vitamin A, D, and K, good. If you don't, then you might want to start making these interventions. Vitamin K, you get them in leafy greens, all the leafy greens that you can think of. Think about it and start incorporating them in your diet. Also asparagus, green beans, cauliflower, parsley, cilantro, and leeks. You got to get prebiotic foods in your diet. It's not just for gut, but it also is for oral health. These are things like dandelion greens, chicory root, garlic, leeks, onion, jicama, asparagus. I love jicama. Asparagus, acacia powder. These help control inflammation in the mouth. Likely, those signals are coming from the gut, right? Again, remember, direct communication. But the caveat is if you have progressive gum disease, you want to get that cleaned out before you start really having high doses of prebiotic foods. So make sure you're seeing a biological dentist or functional dentist or holistic dentist. And I mentioned the resource to find them is IAOMT.org, I believe. If you go on there, that's the Academy of Alternative Dentist, and you will be able to find in your area from the database. It makes it a lot easier, right? But that's what you want to look for, really, biological, holistic, or functional dentist. You want to eat probiotic-rich foods, of course, right? They're going to be giving your oral microbiome and gut microbiome some good bacteria, feeding it. So miso, tempeh, kimchi, sauerkraut, pickles, kefir. You can also get vegan kefir from coconuts. Oral probiotics, I do take them every now and then. They use certain strains that have been shown in studies to reduce the pathogenicity and growth of strep mutans, which is really one of the most pathogenic organisms in the mouth. Also helps manage gingivitis, controls inflammation in the mouth. There's a small study that showed a help reduction in breath or bad breath, and may be preventative against oral cancer. And of course, when I'm talking about oral cancer, I always talk about green tea. So remember, go back to green tea and see the power of what green tea does in oral cancer too. That's a little digression. I'm sorry. avoid simple carbs and processed foods. This is like the old school. We knew about this for oral health, right? We want to stop the simple carbs. We want to stop all that crap, all that junk food. Well, why? The bacteria in the mouth, what happens is when we eat these carbs, these processed carbs, it changes the pH in our mouth. It becomes more acidic. And when that pH changes, these bacteria are so smart. They protect their environment by releasing calcium into the mouth. But by releasing calcium, guess what suffers? Our enamel, our teeth. Therefore, the process begins of dental caries, what we see, right, or cavities. So really important is choosing the right foods, as I just mentioned a few, and then staying away from the ones that you know are going to change that pH in the mouth. That's really the way cavities happen, but we can prevent those just with food choices, okay? Practices, of course, some of the most basic practices is floss after every meal, brush after every meal, but wait 30 minutes or so you can have, you can prevent enamel wear. Something that I love doing is tongue scraping, keeping oral health good, preventing bad breath. It removes as Ayurvedic, it's an ancient Ayurvedic practice, but Ayurvedic practitioners or the practice of Ayurveda calls the removal of ama, which are the toxic substances in the mouth. One toothpaste in particular that I am intrigued by, and I will look more into it, is Biocidin toothpaste and the dental Sidin liquid that they use. It is said from the company that it's an oral care solution. It's helpful removing plaque and breaking down biofilms. I just want to know, I would actually ask the company first if those products also disrupt the good oral flora, right? We don't want it to have an antibiotic effect. So sit tight on that. I will be talking about that more on Instagram. But yeah, intriguing products. Let's pay close attention to that. Also, being very, very much so aware of bleeding gums. If your gums are bleeding, that's a sign of a chronic underlying issue. It could be a gut. It could be a gut thing, right? Gut dysfunction, leaky gut. There's something called leaky mouth. Look it up. And the two are aligned with each other. So usually if your gums are bleeding, your intestines are having major issues, but it also could be a sign of heart disease or high blood pressure. So really paying close attention, going to your dentist regularly so they can assess you. Make sure they're seeing you as a whole, though. Make sure the window is not only on your mouth, okay? And I mentioned hooking up with a biological, holistic, or functional dentist, IOMT.org. Look for someone who's not making a career of drilling and filling. Look for someone who knows how to remove amalgams properly. I did my first show on amalgam removal and the dangers of amalgam in your teeth. So yeah, these are basic interventions that are so powerful in oral health. But remember not to disregard or discredit the importance of what goes on in our mouth and our whole body. I cannot stress it enough. Hook up with the right practitioner. Start taking care of your oral health, being upping your oral hygiene, getting in those high quality foods as I mentioned, and then really just knowing that my gut is good, my mouth is good, my mood is good, my body's good. All right, so look, dentistry is amazing. Oral health is amazing. I love it. I'm so intrigued by it. I hope I intrigued you. Let's get over to the product review. I got some good stuff to review. Okay, so today's product review, I'm going to bring this up because what happened was the other day I was in San Diego and I got some really beautiful gifts from the Vegan Danielle podcast. She gave me all of this produce, basically, fruits and vegetables. And I love blueberries, but for some reason, I think I overdid the blueberries all summer. And I was eating the blueberries and I had the worst stomach ache immediately. And it was on an empty stomach. But what I noticed was that there was gas trapped in my stomach. That's exactly what it was like. And I just needed to burp. I needed to burp bad. Luckily, I remembered that I brought fennel seeds with me because I knew, I had them in my car, but I know that they're helpful for nitric oxide, increasing nitric oxide in the body and thus opening up the blood vessels when you're doing exercise activity. So I always have them in my car in case I go on like a hike or do some exercise and I need them. But they're also a carminative. Carminative actually moves gas through the body. So I took it, I chewed them raw, a handful, and I don't know, maybe in 15 minutes, I was burping like a madman, but it was helping a lot. So it got me thinking, what is the over-the-counter go-to for folks who have that trapped gas? And trapped gas, if you ever suffered with this, could be really painful. Just look at kids who are crying all night with that colic pain. That's trapped gas. So first, you want to think about why you're getting trapped gas. Do you have bacteria in your small intestine that are fermenting and causing gas? Are you eating too fast? Are you mouth breathing when you're sleeping? These are all really more root cause stuff. But, intervening on a surface is going to be really important too, especially like I needed something when I was in that car. So Gas X is what's used over the counter. I'm sure many of you, it's number one doctor recommended brand, but not by Dr. G, is the number one used over the counter supplement. But its active ingredient is simethicone, and simethicone basically puts together bubbles in your stomach so you can release them easier. But the inactive ingredients are terrible. Why does it have food coloring? I did the whole show on food coloring, and this is used a lot for kids, but kids should never be subjected to food coloring in general, ever. But this has DNC red number 30, aluminum lake, dextrose, flavors, just flavors, ambiguously speaking, maltodextrin. Usually when you see maltodextrin or dextrose, they're usually derived from genetically modified ingredients, as is the soy protein isolate. Propylene glycol I spoke about in one of the environmental toxin videos and food toxin videos, a nasty chemical. So look, one of these ain't gonna hurt you. 10 of these ain't gonna hurt you. But you have to remember that people chew these things like candy. Just like I spoke about last week about the antacids. People chew them like candy. The same goes with things like this, Gas X. So I'm here to offer you another option. Fennel seeds. This is the organic fennel seeds from Whole Foods. Really, I just opened them up, put a handful, chewed them up. Tastes like licorice. I don't mind licorice, but this is known as a carminative herb. This is why at Indian restaurants, when you're leaving, they usually have fennel seeds there, because after you have a heavy meal, they want to help you release the gas when you leave. So really smart, the Indian culture. But if you don't like phenols, you can also look into, and this is not medical advice, anise, peppermint, chamomile, rosemary, ginger, lemon balm. These are all carminative herbs that and remember, let's say if your child is suffering with colic pain constantly, then make sure that you ask your pediatrician if it would be safe. But that would be a really nice intervention for the child and you. If you're suffering with colic pain, first of all, or any trapped gas, think about what the food is. I remember I just spoke to you about SIBO, eating too fast, mouth breathing, maybe dairy. That's a huge cause of a lot of gas for people. Think about what's in your diet, get to the root cause, but on the surface, symptomatically, you can just take these carminative herbs that I mentioned in whatever form. Even teas are so helpful, and you shouldn't have to suffer. So there you go. Look, really quick one, really simple one. Get off the Gas X, get on Nature's Herbs. All right, and we're going to go to the special guest. Hey, all right, today's special guest, I'm so excited to have her in here. She is a sensation. By sensation, I mean on every level. Go check out her Instagram first and foremost and see how she blew up the health and fitness game. Her name's Amanda Meixner, and she is known as Meow Mix. But she's here to really teach us how to make that transition from eating like crap to really bringing in nutritious foods, elevating our health. I cannot wait one more second. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you, Dr. G.
Yeah.
What a great welcome.
Yeah. That's how I try to really build it up. Man, I should have been a hype person for
you should have been a hype man.
Yeah, I don't know why I haven't. But
you kind of are right now.
I am. I hyped you up real good. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love this setup.
Yeah, thank you. We really tried to mix art, science, and nature as best as possible.
That's you.
Yeah, right? In every single way.
You summed up right there.
So, okay, look. You, on so many levels, are changing the game, but I want to talk about our first account when we met. I went through this rigorous workout, which I'm still recovering from. Okay, we went to Santa Monica Beach, and we did your beach workout, the Beach Tribe. Mm-hmm. And you were going through it like skipping. Your fiance was going through it like G.I. Joe skipping, and meanwhile, I was crawling like a zombie, because that was tough. And do you do workouts like that all the time?
I love intense workouts. I always feel like, one, it's like the most bang for your buck if you can get to that level. And then two, like for me, it's such a stress relief to like sweat, that energy to really just be focused for an hour. And I mean, I was an athlete growing up. Did you play sports growing up?
A little bit of football.
A little bit of football.
Yeah.
Then you should know.
Yeah, I know. I still don't like it. I still don't like sprinting.
I know. Now I'm addicted to the endorphins. You really get addicted to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, HIIT training, weight training. You know, ladies, don't be afraid to lift weights. All that stuff. I just go for it. I have an affinity for it. I mean, I was talking to your girlfriend, Jacqueline, the other night. I was like, I could benefit from a little bit more yoga because I do so much weightlifting. But yeah, no, I'm glad you made it out. And you're doing a little more weight training now.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't not now at this point, since the community I'm around are just like ultra athletes.
You're holding you accountable?
I need to be held accountable.
Yes.
But one thing you just said, really important, is women should not be afraid of weightlifting.
Yeah, strength training. I mean, there's so many benefits, obviously help prevent osteoporosis. The more muscle you have, the more calories you burn, the leaner you are. And it's also, I hate to, if you're look into it for more of the aesthetics, I mean, I think it's so much more than that, but obviously you'll end up skinny fat almost if you're just doing cardio, because you really shape your muscles doing weightlifting. Then you feel good.
Yeah, so they shouldn't be so you're mean to tell me they're not going to grow like these huge shoulders and huge
it's not
back.
like you pick up a dumbbell.
Yeah.
It's so hard to get bulky. You have to eat so much food. I mean, like how hard is it to put on muscle? You have to really try.
Really hard, yeah.
Really try, really hard. You're not. Women don't have enough testosterone. They're not going to eat enough. Like it's just very difficult. Like you don't need to stay at 5 pound like the colorful dumbbell. Like go ahead, go heavy.
Yeah.
Go higher rep. You'll get lean muscle. Just like it happens naturally.
Yeah, and it's so important for, as you said, hormonal balance. Like
yes.
you have to have a good ratio of muscle to fat.
Yes.
Right? And what that does for your estrogen, testosterone clearance, everything is so important for women out there. So yeah, women listening, don't be afraid. Man, I know we're not afraid. We want to do the opposite.
Men
we want to put on that
might
muscle.
have a little more ego in the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, but women, you want to be able to, like, when you get to 60, I mean, obviously even older, like, you want to be able to get out of a chair to be able to, go from sitting to standing very easily, and strength training will help you continue to do that.
Yeah, and I actually speak about how powerful both aerobic and anaerobic exercise is for breast cancer, prostate cancer, colon cancer prevention. Like it is a magic bullet. It is so powerful preventatively.
Yes.
And even if you do get diagnosed with cancer, what that does during and after.
I believe
it's
it.
amazing. So, I mean, like that should be the number one recommendation before anything.
Yes, and you've heard of exercise also being so beneficial in the prevention, like, of dementia and other like brain issues. So adding to that.
Yeah.
Adding to the fire.
You can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong.
Basically, just don't overdo it.
Yes.
Right?
You can overdo it for sure. And that's also what I have to remind myself.
Exhaust yourself.
Yeah.
Paying attention to like symptoms of real fatigue, your adrenals like just on like right on the floor, and you need to so being mindful of that.
You need a rest day.
Yeah,
you need the yoga.
It might be hard for people to do that rest day because you do get addicted, like you said, the endorphins.
Oh, you do. I know. It's like you're either doing too little or you're doing too much.
Yeah.
Where's the middle?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's inspiring for me too, because I want to get to the gym too.
You're doing it.
ASAP. Yeah, I'm making some changes. So, I want to go back to something we mentioned. Like, you have a very powerful, successful teaching medium through Instagram. It has taught so many people, and I know you've gotten messages left and right that you've changed lives. How did you start off, first of all, teaching people?
Well, I would say it all started a while ago and like this was before I was on Instagram, but kind of my motivation behind my whole message is in high school, I developed an eating disorder. I became anorexic, and luckily, like with the help of like professional help, there's like no substitute for professional help if you're dealing with some emotional problems. I made a full recovery. But after that, I was also like, I knew I was missing the piece of education of like looking at these women in magazines and thinking, wow, I want to look like them. Like, how do I do that? Like, I eat less. Like, you just eat less.
Yeah.
Like, it's not about the food. It's like, you just need to eat less. And that's what sent me down that path partially, was that mindset of just eating less and less until you're not eating anything at all. And that's a huge problem. I was probably like about 90 pounds at my lightest, and right now I'm 130. So just not a good place to be. Wasn't getting my period, had other hormonal issues. So just really struggling mentally, emotionally. And I don't want women to go through that. And I also want them to know that there is a healthy way to lose weight, right? Because when you're in that mindset and you feel so stuck, like you're like, I've tried exercising and like I lost a few pounds, but that's it. Like, what am I missing? So that's really why I center my whole brand around nutrition, like whole foods, just like the natural way to lose weight. And almost like, you know, when you first transition to whole foods, if you can stick to that, the habit's hard, but like the weight will come off a lot easier than when you're eating all these processed, like hyper palatable foods.
Yeah, and that is so true. The habit is hard.
The habit part is hard.
Right?
It's like the simplicity of it, of like eating whole foods and getting in the kitchen, and like those are simple actions, but sticking to it is the hard part.
And the heart, one of the big things that people need to know is 3 to 6 weeks your taste buds are changing, right?
Yes.
So like you said, hyper palatable foods, they're really like yum 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 yum, right? Because they're designed in particular to make it palatable, to make it extra palatable, to release that dopamine every time you eat it. But 3 to 6 weeks, all of a sudden you're eating more broccoli, kale, cauliflower, whatever it is, and your taste buds are changing, right?
Yeah, getting off that, it's crazy how sweet foods taste to me now, like a peach. That tastes amazing.
Yeah.
But getting off of something like a Frappuccino, like I went from Frappuccinos to Frappuccino Lights to coffee with, you know, some sugar, and now I can drink my coffee black. So it's making those transitional steps, whether some people can do it overnight, and some people need to take baby steps and, you know, just add a salad here or try a green juice if you've never had any vegetables and all you can do is tolerate it in a smoothie because just you haven't had that many vegetables in your life.
Yeah. And a lot of folks actually haven't been exposed to the diversity of vegetables that, you know, you and I will preach to people, because it's not just start eating more spinach, right?
Yes.
The diversity is important. I see in a lot of your pictures you put up, it's like
the
beautiful
rainbow.
rainbows.
Yes.
Right? And that's really helpful for the gut microbiome, for detoxification, every one of our systems. So to you then, regardless of keto, paleo, vegan, everything in between, what does a plate look like to you? What should folks who are making this transition look for?
So, I mean, it's like a well-balanced plate. You don't have to do this at every meal, but I like to think of it. You have your protein, so it could be whether that's, you know, animal or plant-based protein. Then you have some form of like healthy whole food carbs. So less of the processed ones, more sweet potato, exactly those kind of carbs. You have a healthy fat, avocado, nuts, you know, some of the olive oils, and then on top of that, you know, you might have different seeds. So those are like protein, carbs, healthy fats, and then load up on the veggies. So your plate should be a majority of veggies. Those like high fiber, you know, more than just, obviously you can still eat corn, but you know, the green and the purple.
Everything, all that good stuff. Feeding your gut bacteria, giving it love.
Yes.
Yeah, and because traditionally, and actually the way I grew up, it was mostly like steak, like white rice, and like a quarter handful of broccoli.
Yes.
That's how I grew up, you know?
I feel like that's the American way. It's like we got to flip that on the other side where it's at least half the plate of vegetables and like these smaller portions of carbs and protein. And of course, some of that satisfying fat that we were all afraid of for the longest time.
I know. So what do you say to someone like me back then who's like, I'm in school, I have classes nonstop. How do I eat like this all the time? Because it's way easier for me in college to go to Subway.
Wow.
You know, or get a pizza in between classes. How does a busy person find time to meal prep? How do we meal prep? Like, what are some really good tips? Because I know you're the queen of that.
That's my thing. Well, what I like about meal prepping is essentially, like for me, I was doing it every Sunday for 5 days a week. You can do it like, or twice a week and set you up for the next few days. But really write out what you want to eat for the week or for the next few days. And then once you have that written out, then write your grocery list and then go grocery shopping and prep it all in bulk. Really saves you so much time if you just do it all in bulk. And then there's also just like different things you can buy, like different tools you can buy to help make it faster. There's like an egg cooker. You can get an Instant Pot. There's so many. There's a spiralizer that can make, you know, zucchini into this fun like pasta. So just different tools to have in your kitchen so you can speed up the process, and you don't have just the stove to work with. You have like a couple different items because you need to multitask.
Yeah.
Then you get it done.
And that's the big issue that for folks like me, finding time to do it. So let's say to really have a good meal prep set up for the week, how much time do you think someone should allot?
It depends on how much you want to actually, because, if you're going to make breakfast at home, and you're just doing lunches, like let's just say lunches, I mean, you could do in like 2 hours, 3 hours. If you're doing like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, then that might get into the 4 or 5 hours. So it really depends on, how many meals you want to cook.
Yeah.
But keep it simple, super simple. I mean, get some spices because you need different flavors. You don't want boring food.
Yeah.
And spices have so many different benefits within themselves. So you definitely want to get that on hand. But yeah, you need to dedicate a couple hours.
Okay. But
dedicate some time.
But like we dedicate like 5 hours to our phone a day.
Yeah.
4 hours to our phone a day. Like we can take an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Well,
to
once
3.
you get used to it too, like you almost become addicted to it because I don't have to think about lunch. Like when I don't set up my meals, I'm like, oh, crap. Like I have to portion it out.
Yeah.
Like I have to cook it.
Yeah.
If it's set up, I mean, I'll reheat my food in a pan.
Yeah.
That's what I do. But at least like it's there. It's perfectly portioned. I'm like, I don't think about it. Like, and I pick stuff that I like. You know what I mean? Don't pick stuff that you absolutely hate. Like put some fun stuff in there for you. But I don't have to think about it during the week, and it saves me so much time.
Yeah. So takeaway. Think about what you want to make.
Yes.
Right, and you don't have
to look at some recipes if you want simple ones. Pinterest.
Simple ones, yeah. You don't have to do something
like
gourmet.
Literally, like Google search like meal prep recipes because they literally make that so they're easier. So if you're vegan like Dr. G, vegan meal prep recipes, Pinterest it, and then write. Okay, so that's what I have for lunch, breakfast, and dinner. Then write your grocery list, right? Don't go to the store and be like, oh,
that's me.
Yes.
I'm like, what can I intuitively eat all week? And then literally half of it spoils.
Yeah, so you really have to write it out. Because if you write it out, that's what I found too. If you write out exactly what you're going to do, you like almost waste no food.
Okay.
Obviously, you can get some stuff on the fly, like if some tropical fruit really calls out to you, I don't want to take that away from you.
Yeah.
But then, you won't have as much food waste when you write that out. And then the other thing you'll need is like containers to put the food in. So if you don't already have that at home, like go get that. It's a little motivating too. Like if you go ahead, you're like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to buy these like glass Tupperware or like I get like mason jars. I make salad jars.
Yeah.
32-ounce mason jars. If you order that online, like you're gonna feel committed. Like I just got all these containers. Make it now. Yeah. It's like staring at you in the corner.
Yeah.
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 So just do that right now, and then you'll feel like you have to do it.
That's literally the corner of my kitchen right now. I have jicama, sweet potatoes. Potatoes are all looking at me. They're like, please soup me up. And I'm just like, yeah, I'll get to you soon.
Soon.
And then I'll, like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but let's make a deal. I'm going to make a soup on Sunday.
Do it.
Based on all of these, because you have motivated me. So that's wonderful. So back to your Instagram. I want everyone to check that out who's listening, because you show the simplicity of ingredients to the beauty of a dish.
Right.
And when you see that, you're like, well, damn, that and it didn't even take that long.
No.
But like you can have that nutritious of a dish with different colors.
Yes.
That's really motivating. Have you found that people are really responsive to things like that?
Yeah, I mean, I actually purposely, I'm like, the less ingredients I can put in a dish, I know the more likely people are gonna be to make it. Because it's really intimidating to see like 20 ingredients. Oh my goodness, I don't want to do that. So I try to keep it around five or so, but I know that's whenever I get with a chef, because I cook so much. But then when I get with a chef, I'm like, whoa, I'm super basic, but it works.
Yeah, but it works. Those
works.
interventions work, right?
And it's just what people want to do on a regular basis. You're probably not going to do a 20 ingredient dish unless it's maybe Thanksgiving or something super special.
Yeah.
I just want that barrier to entry to be so low, because everyone's so busy. You're busy. People listening, you guys are busy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help you out.
Yeah. So what do you say? I mean, how far does this thinking extend, where people are just obsessively counting calories?
Oh, yeah.
Versus just eating like whole foods. Do you see like...
Yeah, it can go. I mean, obviously you're going into more of the world of like orthorexia a little bit. Yeah, in that world where you're like too obsessed with like being healthy. I think calorie and macro counting are there to only use temporarily, right? Like that's where it's a tool. Maybe you don't, like I said, if you eat more whole foods, you don't necessarily need to do that. You can follow like different methods and look at portions, but you can, like I've tracked macros and calories before, but don't do it all the time. Do it for a period of time to really see, to gauge portions and really think of it as like, oh, this is about the serving of carbs I need or about the serving of protein I need. So you can kind of get away from it eventually because it's not fun. I don't find it fun.
It's not fun. I'll let you know. When I was in college, we were going to Acapulco for spring break. And for 3 months before that, I got a little like a marble binder.
Okay.
And I wrote literally every macronutrient plus salt, plus everything. Like the most, it was the most, how do I say this? It was blowing up every single part of my life because I became so obsessed with it.
How long did you do that for?
3 months.
Oh, 3 months.
3 months. But
that's really long.
But even when we went out for drinks, I would count the calories in vodka.
Oh, yeah.
Now that's orthorexia.
Yeah, you used to take it a little too far. I think it's something nice. It's like, oh, you can do that for a couple of weeks or something to gauge your portion size and to understand. But then once you understand that, like, put it away.
But there's people who stick to things like that, counting calories. Like even Weight Watchers drives you crazy because like you're always counting points. I've seen it happen with people. But counting calories throughout your life is no way to live because then literally, you eat like half of a protein bar or like half of a cookie and it's over.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
You know how it is. Like people, it's just like, oh God, it'll drain you. But yeah, it was not a good place to be.
Yeah, that's why, obviously, eating mostly whole foods, you can become more intuitive and listen to your body and listen to the cues, and you won't need calorie and macro tracking as much.
So how do you feel then about like these pages and posts that are showing like, where I'm going with this? It shows like, okay, well, this is a healthy food or like considered healthy food with 500 calories, but a Snickers bar has 500 calories. You're fine.
You're good. Well, I feel like some of the point, they want to get the guilt away, right? Because it doesn't do you or us any good if we have a cookie or we have something, like have some candy corn, like we know that stuff is junk. But, you enjoyed yourself, you'll be okay. You're not eating it every day. But to compare a Snickers and say it's like the same as a banana, like it's the same calories. We know that the banana is way more nutritious. It's going to do so much more for your body. It has way more vitamins and minerals and all the good stuff.
Yeah.
Like this, they take it too far. It's like everything. You take it too far.
Yeah. And then, but the thing is, people hold on to these perspectives and say like, oh, duh, like why am I just worrying about what I eat? Why don't I just count these calories, make sure it's under something, and therefore I can just enjoy hyperpalatable foods with no nutrition.
I am not all for that. And I mean, there's even studies showing issues with all these processed foods. I know this is a correlation study, but a 2019 study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association linked an increased consumption of ultra-processed food with a higher risk of all-cause mortality. So
there you go.
And it was crazy. It was something like a 14% increase in all-cause mortality for a 10% increased consumption of processed foods.
Just a little bit.
Just 10%.
Yeah.
Again, obviously it's correlation, but
even as a mechanism in the body, we know what they do to the body, right? Increase inflammation, increase oxidation, disrupt hormones, stress the liver. These are all things that these hyperpalatable foods, not to mention pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, all that crap in it. You know how I get.
Yeah.
That makes sense regardless of correlation. We could say that right now. We don't need that evidence.
Yes. No, and like I said, it's like, I understand they're like, okay, we want to take the fear out of it. Like, there's all that junk in it, but if I eat a Snickers, on Halloween, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
I'll be okay.
Yeah. The same goes like when I'm out to eat, if I have some sort of plant-based dessert, I don't think twice.
Yeah.
I know there's hella sugar in there, but it's delicious.
You enjoyed yourself.
Yeah, I had like this blueberry cheesecake that was like, I swear that my body and soul separated for like a good 25 minutes. I was like flying through the clouds, looking over like Rome, Italy, living my life. Yeah.
I want this cheesecake now.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you where to get it. I don't remember where. Oh, Cafe Gratitude, I think it was.
Oh, I need to go.
Oh my God. No, Donna Jean in San Diego.
Okay.
That's where you need to go.
Okay.
You will love it.
All right. I need that in my life.
And whoever knows Donna Jean knows what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if they're trying to oversimplify. It's taking it too far when it's like, let's just eat whatever we want when we want all the time.
Yeah.
It just seems like I purposely don't have like junk in my house because like I would rather go out and buy something tasty than have too much temptation in my house. Like maybe some dark chocolate, chocolate chips, a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to have all this temptation around me.
For sure.
Like I'll fail.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy to go out to Whole Foods or Erewhon and like get.
Yeah, you can go
stuff.
and if you can, and hopefully you can get some higher quality desserts. Like opt for that. But even if you want something not quite as good, it's like don't keep that in your house. Just go and get yourself some, and then you won't have a box full of.
Yeah, and it'll be gone fast. If I bring like a chocolate bar, it's gone in 2 days.
I do have a box full of junk food though, but I'm not really tempted by these that I do for comparisons. Like I keep a little box.
Yeah. I wonder what people do when they put up posts on Instagram, and I'm like, you ain't keeping those Pringles, are you?
Yeah, you're not eating that. Some of it, I get asked that question a lot. So I have a box full of stuff, and processed food, it keeps forever.
Yeah.
I'm like, this thing, how is this? This has been good. This cookie, this like
it hasn't even
white. Like the very like white, like not good quality cookie. I'm like, it still looks the same.
Yeah, you have like a skull and crossbones on that box.
Yeah, so usually I'll do that, or if it's something that is super tasty. Like I got a McFlurry for a post, and Chris ate that. He was.
Did he? He can afford.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. It's not that big a deal every now and then. It's like the ongoing consumption that really adds up.
Yeah, and that's what I try to stress to people. It's like, here's everything you need to know.
Right.
Our bodies are magnificent. We detox, we get rid of, we find balance. But like you said, it's everyday exposure, right? Either eating, breathing it in, like I talk about environmental toxicity, it's all the same thing. It's every day, it chips away. And then we start seeing, right? Our bodies are strong and powerful, but
Yeah.
That's what happens. Yeah. So, so what do you know? Any plans now? What are you going into now?
Like.
Yeah. Like, what do you want? What else do you want to do?
Oh, well, right now, Chris and I are actually working on an ebook because I really want to put all of these like nutrition principles into an ebook, some tips, a lot of the food swaps people love, like you do reviews like of good and bad, but people love like food swaps because
they love it.
Because it's hard to find better products. Like for example, like ketchup. Most ketchup has so much sugar, but there's other better versions out there. So just giving people the different food swaps they can have in their life. So I'm working on that ebook. I just launched a podcast. Dr. G is going to be on in a few weeks.
Oh, I'll be on.
You'll be on.
I'll be on, and I'll be going off, and you'll be laughing because I'll just be getting real intense.
Yes, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I love your intensity. So those are my main focuses right now. Obviously, my wedding.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wait a minute. You're getting married next week.
I'm getting married.
Oh, look at that. So that's big celebration.
Big celebration.
Congratulations.
I will have some cake.
Yeah, bring back some vegan treats, okay? Because I know not everyone's gonna eat the vegan treats.
You're like, I call dibs.
I'll tell a quick story. We were at this party yesterday, and they were going over all of the food that was there.
Oh my goodness, this is funny. Yeah,
and we're in a big circle, and they're talking to everyone about the food. But then they start talking about the vegan food, and literally they're just looking at me and Jacqueline.
You and Jacqueline. I was like, are you guys the only vegans?
I think we were the only ones there.
That was really funny.
Yeah, and I was like, Jacqueline, are they just looking at us? And she's like, yeah, I think so. But that's how it is.
No, that's
it's
good.
amazing.
I mean, that's why we're all friends. We're all a community. We support each other. We respect each other's choices, and I'm all about that. And we're all in here for a common goal to really feel better and help people feel better and live better lives.
Yeah, you've hit it on the head. How about for people who want to follow in your footsteps and be like, look, I'm a nutritionist, I'm a dietitian, I'm a health coach. I want to start changing people's lives the way you do. What are some tips for people on, like, let's say Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever it is?
Well, obviously these are the most obvious ones. So just top two: be consistent and give value. But that's just like the basics. Like everyone knows they need to do that at this point. But connecting with your community and talking to your audience members and really understand like what will help them, because that's what I'm always optimizing for. I feel like people are so quick to just show. I mean, it's great to show the lifestyle you're living, like, oh, here's what I'm doing, but how can you really help people implemented and like format that in a way that it's easy for them to understand. Like when I'm showing my recipe on my story, I make sure like they can screenshot it, like I'm thinking at the end of the day all about the audience.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, I should weave in like parts of my life and, but it's not about me. Like it's about helping these people and really understanding, what could help them, responding to them, talking to them, because that's how you make better content.
It's so true.
Yeah.
You have to think their perspective and the way they want to learn from you.
Yes. And getting like really like, what does this audience want? Like I know most of my audience is women. Mm-hmm. They want to lose weight. A lot of them are stay-at-home moms. So just really getting like honing in on who your audience is as you grow it.
Yeah. So stop talking about, mattress toxicity and pay more attention to the demographics.
I saw the foam mattress.
They're nasty. Foam mattress. Oh my God. If you even bring up foam mattresses on your podcast, you better allot like 45 minutes for me to just go
Oh my
off.
goodness. I want to go into that. Wait, what are your plans though? Are you gonna? I want to know your
question.
plans.
Man, well, I'm stopping seeing patients, and I'm going more into education. I'm getting involved in this startup that is launching next month, and we're building literally the #1 health resource in the world where anyone can go to learn about anything from fitness, from nutrition, Ayurveda, naturopathic medicine. I've been blessed to be asked to do this, and so I'm hiring a bunch of people to create this crazy platform. I can't say the name yet, but it will launch. I will make an announcement. That's the major thing I'm doing. I'm doing some concierge medicine. I have a family that I work with, and I have a TEDx coming up. At the end of the year or early in the beginning.
Are you supposed to keep the subject under wraps? Is that how it works?
For now,
okay.
Yeah. And then, but once it's ready, it's going to be ready, and it's going to explode. So, thanks for asking what I'm doing. No one really ever asks about me now that I think about it.
Well, I have my own podcast, so
I know. What's the name of your podcast?
Master Your Health Podcast.
Master Your Health. How many episodes have you done?
8. We have 8 now.
Well, damn, that's a lot.
And you'll be like number 11 or something.
Okay, wow. So you're really just banging them out, right?
I'm trying. Well, we had a bunch stockpiled.
I see.
Thank goodness, because with the wedding.
Yeah.
But I can't wait to have you on.
Okay, yeah. Really. I can't wait to be on. So before we close out, let me get 3 things from you, right? What 3 things can we tell the listeners or the viewers that can maximize their health? What are 3 important things, the most important things right now for health?
So my number 1 tip is overall stop drinking your calories and replace any of your sugary drinks with water, tea, and then like coffee with not much added, but mostly water. So that's number 1. Number 2 would be to cut back on the processed foods. So really cut back. Don't throw that out of your house. Really don't keep any in the pantry. If your family needs to have some, like have a designated area that's not really in your eyesight. And then number 3 would be to incorporate more whole foods, eat more whole foods and get back in the kitchen.
Yeah, you cannot go wrong with those 3.
No.
How simple are they?
So simple.
And you
even
can change your
number
life.
1.
Yeah.
If you're drinking a sugary drink every day, you can lose weight.
I've seen it.
By just cutting that out.
I've seen it. Literally just like 1 can of Coke, and they lose so much weight when they cut
Absolutely.
it. It's literally syrup in a bottle.
It's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming. I can't wait to be on your show. Congrats on the wedding. Everybody congratulate her on Instagram, which your name is Meow Mix?
Meow Mix, yeah. Meow, MEIX.
MEIX. You'll find everything you ever needed on that page. Support her show. And yeah, thank you all for listening. Thank you for coming.
Thanks, Dr. G.
All right. All right, what a show. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. I hope you enjoyed every single segment. I'm telling you, every week from now on, as always, we're giving you the good stuff. So thank you for tuning in. Rate, review, subscribe, giving love back. Go hug your mother, go hug your brother, hug everyone you know. All right, take care. Adios.